Hello, David here, and the project for today is replacing the front main seal on a 1998 Ford Contour with a 2.5 liter V6 engine. And I was able to stop a great deal of oil leakage by replacing the oil pan gasket. I'll put a link to that video above. And I should have replaced the front cover gasket when I replaced the oil pan gasket, because in order to replace the front cover gasket, you have to replace the oil pan gasket, and that involves lifting up the motor and supporting it while you're working on it because of the clearance for the oil pump. Well, I wasn't thinking, but anyway, I have a small amount of seepage coming from the front, and it's a lot easier to change the front main seal than it is to change the front cover at this point. So I'm going to replace the main seal and see if that stops the seepage. And of course the front main seal is on the right side of the car, the passenger side. And the first thing you want to do is remove the serpentine belt. Use a 3/8 inch breaker bar. Okay, the front of the car is supported on jack stands, and the right front tire and wheel assembly is removed. And this portion of the splash shield has to come off. It's held down with two 10mm screws. So I rented a pulley puller at AutoZone, not a sponsor. See how it works. They say not to use an impact wrench on it. So we need to pry out the old seal with a screwdriver. I got a replacement seal. It's a Felpro TCS 46114. Let's see if it matches the old one. Yeah, perfect match. Going to clean out the bore with an alcohol-soaked rag. Clean the outside of the new seal with an alcohol-soaked rag. Put a little RTV on the outside of the seal. And you're going to need a big socket that's about the size of the seal in order to tap it in. Because if you hit it unevenly on one end with a hammer or something, you're going to distort the metal frame of the seal. I happen to have this piece that I use on my shop press that I got from a piece of gym equipment, and it happens to fit the seal perfectly. Yeah, success. Let's wipe off the extra RTV. And we certainly don't want any RTV on the seal portion. Well, I returned the installation tool to AutoZone, and I'm somewhat annoyed. There was a different guy at the counter. I told him what happened to the pulley, and he said, "Oh, we have this big poster of pictures of all the tools." And sure enough, I looked on the poster, and there was a picture of the tool I needed that works with Fords, that has the 3/8mm bolts that screw into these holes. 1, 2, 3. That would have worked. However, I was able to file these down with a fine file. There's no rough edges, so I doubt my serpentine belt is going to get chewed up. But if you guys see me on the side of the road, come and stop. Help me out. I'll let you buy the first round of beers. I don't know if that would have happened at Napa or not. I don't even know if Napa rents tools, but Napa's farther from my house. So you guys that work at AutoZone, check with your customers and see what the applications they're using when you rent out the tools. So I did look on the poster, and I found a tool for installation, and I found this one, the OEM 27306. It mentions the D is for Ford. That's this one right here. This is called a long reach harmonic balancer, and I assumed I needed the long reach because the threads for the bolt for the harmonic balancer are deep in the crankshaft, and I'm guessing it's better to have one too long than too short, because if it's too short, you're going to be out of luck. If it's too long, it's just going to stick out here further away from the engine. You don't have to buy or rent one of these $60 pulley installation tools. You can get a threaded bolt. It just has to be metric. And it has to be an M12 by 1.5. Just get a nut to fit the threads, and then get a big washer to and then grease it up so it doesn't have any friction when you're turning the pulley in. You know something? This thread is different than this thread. So you got to match up this thread and just get a nut to fit this thread. It could be threaded with this all the way through, and then just turn the pulley onto the crankshaft. I consulted with the shop manual, and I noticed that they say when removing the crankshaft pulley bolt not to turn the engine backwards or counterclockwise, because the timing chain slack could kink, and that could be bad. I noticed when I removed the bolt, I don't think the engine turned, but they recommend putting the car in gear, parking brake on, maybe having an assistant hold the brakes. So that's something to think about. Also, the shop manual said that this crankshaft pulley bolt is a torque to yield bolt. And what that means is you torque it, the torque procedure causes this bolt to stretch. And that also means it's a one-time use only bolt, which means you got to buy another bolt. Couldn't find one on the internet, so I went to the Ford dealer and I got it. Hope you can read that. That's a stock number. Cost $5 in 2021 money, but the way they're printing money these days, by the time you see this video, it might be $20. Examine your crankshaft pulley, specifically the part that runs inside of the seal. Make sure that it's not worn with grooves, otherwise the seal won't hold any oil in. Also make sure it's not damaged, because if it's damaged it could tear up the seal. I recommend getting a Scotch-Brite, buffing it up to make it nice and smooth, and then cleaning it with a little alcohol. Just noticed the bearing on this installation tool is hard to turn. I keep trying to get into the zone, but I feel like I'm in the twilight zone. What I think I'll do is I'll use the washer from the pulley bolt and grease that up really good. Hope that works. Shop manual calls for putting some RTV in the keyway slot. And I'm going to put a thin film of grease on the part of the pulley that rides in the seal. Okay, we're going to mount the pulley and we're going to line up the keyway slot with the keyway, which is about the 3 o'clock position. Got a washer. Let's grease that down really good. And when the nut's hardest to turn, it can't turn anymore, that means the pulley's properly seated. Let's remove the tool. Cleaning the threaded portion of the crankshaft out because the next instruction is to put RTV sealer on the crankshaft pulley bolt. Just want to make sure I get a good bond. I'll clean off the bolt and washer too. Okay, so here's the deal with torquing down the torque to yield bolt. It's done in 4 stages. So if you can do the hokey pokey, you can do this. Stage 1 is torque to 89 foot-pounds, not 88, not 90, 89. Stage 2 is less than 1 full turn at a minimum. Stage 3 is 35 to 39 foot-pounds. And stage 4 is rotate an additional 85 to 95 degrees. Some of these modern torque wrenches have a degree measurement that beeps when you hit a programmed degree. This old torque wrench doesn't do that. Well, let's put some RTV on there. You know what RTV means? It's like MTV but with an R. No, RTV means room temperature vulcanize. Okay, Okay, I need to hold that pulley. Speaking of pulley, I noticed that my serpentine belt was pinched between the pulley and the front cover, so I'm going to buy a new serpentine belt. But I have an old serpentine belt I'm going to wrap around the pulley and clamp with a vice grip. Okay. Now let's loosen the turn. I don't want the crankshaft to turn. Best solution is to use the impact. Got the torque wrench adjusted to 36 foot-pounds. Okay. Now 85 to 95 degrees. I think I'll do 245s. See, I think from here to there, from here to there is about 45. I don't think I could get a full swing. Let me try. I might be able to get a full swing. Hard to turn. I better do 245s. I'm going to have to move the camera to get my body in there. Those last 45 degrees was killer. Get my redneck strap wrench off. Okay, I've got to go pick up a new serpentine belt, but the rest is pretty easy. Put on the serpentine belt, put on the splash shield, torque your wheel into place, and you're ready to go for a cruise. I want to thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and ring that bell for more great videos from David GPO.